Good morning, everybody. Jack Leeson with StartupTraining.com. It is the 19th of August, 9:15 in the morning here. I know Perry had mentioned going over some higher time frame targets if I had them on the chart. So I'm not sure if this is the ones he's referring to, but I will go over them. Um, they are coming into play here shortly, but our pullbacks of this year, the tariff pullbacks, which seems like forever ago. Um, And then we've staged one hell of a rally. We basically closed last year damn near close to all-time highs. So the return on the year is not that impressive, but out of the low, we're up 50% in the Nasdaq, which is it. I mean, it's just mind-boggling numbers. We are up 50% from the low of this year in the Nasdaq, and this negative 23% profit target in the Nasdaq is going to be at 25,334. Pretty interesting as we approach there. So it's still a bit a ways away in the Nasdaq. For the S&P, it's closer back out to a 3-year weekly chart. And I want to measure these numbers as well. From the low to current 40%, unbelievable. 40% out of the low. I mean, that's like the exact low, which, unless you're in this room and were there when we called it out, you didn't buy it. But 20% decline, 40% out of the low, high to low. But this Nasdaq or this ES level is at 6,800. So it's a lot closer. It's only roughly 100 points away from where we're currently trading. We probably could be hitting that soon. So I'll move down to some lower time frame action. This is on the continuous contract. What we ran into on FOMC was this extension from Friday, September 5th. And that Friday, September 5th, uh, high to high, traded its 50% retracement, and we've just rocketed out here. What I'm going to do is, if at any point in time we come down into this full 50% retracement, I want to mark that up. I'm going to move my discount level there. So I don't know if we're getting that today, but if we do, I would not be getting short below it. Now, yesterday in the morning trade plan, and I'll go over this again. I have to go back another day. We went down to a 1 minute chart to figure out where the extension was. And we did that by seeing really this first pullback here at 312. So we saw this extension trade, then we retested the overnight session, and then yesterday for my morning trade plan going into the day, all we did was draw that to the new high. And we came right down early in the morning at 9:45 into that 50% retracement. In the overnight session, we have retested that 78% of the range and also the 50%, the 38 at 66.85. So we're still holding that. And we go to a 5 minute chart. This 1 minute. It's making my brain screwy. We're holding that extension. That extension's upside target is a 67.40. 67.40. So I think my bias is bullish here. And it's bullish really above anything from the prior day. If we start cracking below the prior day, then my bias would change. But I think we're a bit away from that happening. And then really just to pay attention to what did we do after the low yesterday. We actually didn't do a ton, but we traded that low. There was a 50% retracement at 9:55 that ran to a negative 100, and then the rest of the day was kind of boring. It was just a halfway back long that traded once at 11:05. We rallied. We traded it twice, got a little lower at 11:55. We rallied. We came in again after lunch. We rallied again. We rallied, and then 61 tag. Now, this technically held all day long. Now, in the overnight session, it's its own beast. We filtered lower, and then inverse fair value gap. We have a traditional out of lows. That traditional blows through targets. We end up holding in an extension, and we're going through all of those targets now. We're through those negative 100s. The question that I have now is, can we hold this extension again? And this would be the continuation of the overnight sequence. This 3:25 a.m. high to high. Okay, that gives us a 6,700 50% retracement. If anything more aggressive than that, I'm just going to miss it. And that also lines up with that upper mid. If we kind of pull back for another test of what we saw yesterday, that's at 66.94s. That's what traded once, twice, three times, four times, basically five times. Maybe we get six here today. It's either if we continue from the extension of the overnight, which is more aggressive at 66.99s, or just that flat level that's not going to move here. This level's not going to move. This is a developing sequence, meaning it started here today. This is a prior day sequence, 66.94. Those are my two scenarios for a continuation here in the ES. And really, unless we get all the way up to profit targets, I don't want to be focusing on any shorts. Any shorts. For the NASDAQ, let's go down to the daily chart. We have an extension from what was the high of September 5th to high that traded. That upside target yesterday, I believe completed. That was my premium level in the prior day's trade plan, this 24,820 level. We got right up to it, and then I'm going to go to the intraday sequences of the prior day. Where are you? Coming out of the open, let me get rid of the extended session. Coming out of the open, we had that same 955 low. We traded traditional. That traditional runs up to a negative 100 ceiling. Ceiling. Just don't go anywhere past that. That next traditional traded and bounced to the old negative 100. We just kind of battled back and forth. What ended up then, of course, happening is we got the full halfway back long for the day into close. And that gives us an upside target of 24,870s. Now, in the extended session, we did break that. Of course, we did. We've traveled down to, and with a perfect stick here. Perfect stick. Trade that midpoint. And at 3 a.m. New York, 2 a.m. Chicago, beautiful entry. And we rally up to and through targets. We begin our extensions. We're in that same sequence. So if we're going to continue, this extension is going to look a whole lot like the RTH halfway back from the prior day's low. So I really like this NASDAQ, taking the high of the NASDAQ at 325 and drawing it to whatever high and using that as a limit. You can even see that we've already had, our participation here at the 38, but I'm going to continue to draw that to that new high. We're either going to get that previous day's support level to trade again, the 24,706, or the more aggressive zone here at 24,370. And then, see if you guys can see this. Let me go to it. This is just a different grid I watch. Okay, these numbers are as bullish as they can get. 1 is this first one. That means we're above the fair value gap. So 1 above the fair value gap in the 30-minute, above the fair value gap of the hour, and of course the 5-minute too, for the time being. And then we are trending +5 on the startup trading momentum indicator, which means we're above VWAP, above the leg start, above the swing mark, above the ATR, all to the upside. So we're as bullish as we get on these internal readings on my indicators, and that makes me more confident in getting long that extension. So I just wanted to check those numbers. That's going to be a pretty confident bullish trade for me here in the Nasdaq. And then moving on to oil, I have the CLX25 up here. I'm going to remove that. Oil yesterday just cracked. I don't know if there was news that hit, but this bar sure as heck looked like it. This bar was 60 points, 60 ticks. We traded a 50% retracement short, and we went straight down all the way to a negative 100. Now, finally, today, we got that beautiful next measured move from that swing from where that last entry was. Here we go. Too low. Okay. And we've been selling off since then. Downside target here is 62.21s. And let's take a look. I mean, we're probably going right back. I'm going to mark up these swings. I mean, below 62, a little hard to short down there. It doesn't seem like we've gotten much below 62, but we can, on this new contract, make our way right back to 62 unless the trend breaks. Unless the trend breaks. And the trend break would technically only be above a 63.41. Now, I can show you an example of a trend break because we got one in gold here. Gold got a trend break. Gold continues to hold this 36.70 support. Last night, rally. Yesterday, we had a trade down there. Rally, stuck it. Okay. And then again, Asian session, rally. A sweep back down to lows. 5 points through the level, rally. But on that last rally, there was a halfway back short. Midpoint of the day, halfway back short. That was really the continuation of the trend from that standpoint. That broke during the European session. And when that broke, the full halfway back long from the lows of Thursday to high accurately held 2:40 a.m. Rally to the top of the range. Retested here this morning at 9:05. And we're punching out. Really nice big old trend bar. Fair value gap. Upside targets is 37.02 coming out of this low. It'd be a gift to get another halfway back from low. So I will look for in gold as a valid setup this halfway back long. So that's something I will go ahead and limit. Right now it's a 36.82. Something I want to be in. So 36.82, could plan for that. As far as CL goes, I'm going to watch and see if we can. I'm going to set an alert at that 63.24. We might just be. I'm just going to cancel this guy. Sometimes if I reset my alert, the alert screen goes off my monitor and I have to shut down my Thinkorswim. I don't know if that ever happens to you guys, but move an alert, the alert to replace goes off your screen and you have to shut down your Thinkorswim. It's quite annoying. But really, I mean, geez, this NASDAQ could just rip right out of the open. Extension. Might have to bid that 38 here. I'm going to be. It's either that or it's just going to be one of those Mooner opens. It's 1 minute to the open here. 1 minute to the open. Somebody talking in the execution room. Yeah, make sure you guys mute yourself in there. Charles. And then I might just. There we are. All right, so here's that open. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, well, ES coming down. I'm gonna put my order at 94s in the ES. ES is trading its extension. Not interested in it. All right, NASDAQ. Placing that order at that extension. We just traded the 38 of the extension in the NQ. I want the 50. It's 24,738 half. Gonna have to move my gold order up. 83. Just a point or so. Come on down. Come on down. don't know. Santiago will tell you what you got to do. Definitely in more of a neutral market, neutrally bullish, I should say. It's you want to be in and out. Nothing. I don't think there's any big moves to be captured. Like, I mean, if you look at, there was like one big move yesterday to be captured, and the rest of it is just like snipes, little guys. Not looking for too much. All right, the Nasdaq's coming very close to giving my entry, and the ES may as well. Wow, they're just keeping it just a tick away from me. Did I not have my order in like the right place, or have just not been filled? Why have I not been filled? There we go. See what this looks like. All right. We wait for it. We wait for it. Hopefully, but here, let me just give me more than that though. Give me more. One of the things I really like to see is when I'm doing those early morning trades, if we're on the 5 minute chart, this momentum indicator on the bottom here, if this sucker's floating, this is the moving average. If this sucker's floating above 2, the moving average is the white line, then I feel really good about it. And same thing if you're looking at an hourly extension, if we're floating above, you know, 2, like realistically, like we were, I should have been a little more aggressive with yesterday's extension, but that's 2 morning extensions that have had great reactions. And I'm looking up for a new high. We very well could just push through and go right to 806. I mean, this is an instant reaction. Instant reaction for 40 points. So give the old tiger pump. Give me one of those. Oh, come on. One tick away from my exit. Don't you screw me. I will throw this computer out the window. No, I won't do that. It'll be expensive. I've thought about it. I've never thrown anything trading. I used to work at a trade desk though. There was some angry people there. Throw things. I've been very tempted to just grab a mouse and just throw it into a wall and watch it shatter. But I've never done it. I've never done it. I've wanted to do it. Wanted to do it really bad. Wouldn't that be just so satisfying? Just shatter a mouse. Just keyboard slamming. Yeah, I like those YouTube videos. Come on. Give me the legend that could. Just start my Friday off right. Just give it to me. Oh, it's so close. Man, 3 points. All right, so the ES didn't get what I wanted it to. That's fine. Sniper entry, instant move my direction. Of course, as soon as it hits the target, it's probably gonna go like immediately, like another 20 points. Interesting enough, the old negative 100 here, this 6711 in the ES is an old negative 100 from a draw many moons ago, held as resistance thus far. Many moons. Shame, shame, shame. Get that morning trade. Oil, nice reaction from halfway back short from the overnight high for 20 ticks. Still looking for that gold pullback. Gold halfway back from lows is also now the midpoint for the day. I've seen that stuff. Forgot what they call them. Like break glass, and it's not as fun. You have to destroy your own property. Oil just crumbling. One and done. One and done. Man. Here we go. Come on. Give it another shot. To the moon. A trade in 3 minutes is still better than a trade in 10 minutes, but I'll take it. Target, that is. Just sniping the bitty moves. Sniper the bitty moves. Here we are. Told you it was gonna run another 20. All right. All right. Who hit it? Who hit it? Um, all right. So that, I guess I'll go over that, just kind of my confidence level in that, and really like the things, like I said this morning, this looking at this graph, this is a graph. I mean, of course, Barry helped me build everything, but um, this, like looking at this above the fair value gaps on all of that, as well as paying attention to my trend indicator, and when we're literally as positive as we could be on every single indicator, it's probably a good indication of take that sequence. So like, of course, we can always draw different sequences, but it's like one of those sequences gonna hit, and that was a really good example. We were just hot off the momentum into the morning with good readings. So that's something we're gonna continue to pay attention to. I actually just kind of got this study, this line study built the other week with Perry, and I've been like testing it out. This one in the bottom I've had for a while, but I just like to use it for confirmation. So like gold, let's go to gold. Let's see what gold looks like. Oh, we're +5 in GC now too. So gold is going to be above the fair value gaps in all time for it. Gosh, gold is going to take out the overnight high here. Harder to get an entry there right now. Looks like we're holding an extension that I would have to view on the 1 minute, but we're +3 on the hourly. 30 minute is 3. 5 minute is 5 on the momentum, and then we're above it. So like this is a market you just trade long. Just trade long. So we can go in. Let's scalp this. Let's see. I'm gonna go to a 1 minute time frame. Let me switch my, knowing that basically above this most recent swing low, this should be pretty bullish. But finding an entry is elusive at this point. We didn't get that full halfway back. We're holding more aggressive extension. So I'm going to go down to a 1 minute time frame and see if I can identify where the extension is. Okay, so out of this low, you have your traditional, and then that looks like it goes into an extension here, 38 to target. Same new high, 38 on our way to targets. So we have an extension here. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the momentum indicators, and then I'm going down and doing the actual price analysis of like, all right, where's the fib at? Where's that fib? And if you guys see any trending markets, like something that I'm not looking at, feel free to drop it in here and I'll do this analysis. So if you see like, I don't care if it could be 6E for all I care, because when you're running that pattern, you just like catch these little moves. They may not be big, but if we were, on this 1 minute extension, this is no heat, 7 points in gold straight to target, and how many minutes? Like maybe 15. Not even. Not even. But now we gotta wait for that next move. Yeah, I mean, I have my set brackets, but I'll move them around. I'll move them around. Sometimes I just use my brackets, to be honest. My bracket in gold's like 8 points. But yeah, if we're running like, I hate markets like the other day when we're running those Nasdaq, it's like the ATR is like 140 points. You're like, okay, well, I'm not taking that much risk. On these sniper trades, looks like you need half an ATR risk. And move this out of the way for the time being. Don't need to stare at gold, but we'll see if that comes back. Full target hit here in the Nasdaq. Draw that same anchor new high. This is actually like when you go. I'm gonna go to. Let's get rid of the extended session here and drop a couple scenarios. This extension also kind of looks like a full halfway back long. Let's see. The full halfway back long for the day would be 24.77.5 here in the NQ. I'm actually going to give that a shot just for a little snipey snipe. Go to a 5 minute here. Get rid of the extended session. Uh, 30 minutes. 30 minutes into the day, almost. Didn't quite get that next pullback there in Nasdaq. Yeah, Adrian. Well, this one on the bottom of my screen has been good. I've had that for quite some time. Um, and it has five different points of measurement. Um, and then it oscillates based on those points of measurement. So it works on a numerical system. If we're above the VWAP, that's +1. If we're above the leg start, that's +2. If we're above the parabolic SAR, that's +3. If we're above the ATR, that's +4. And then if we're above, did I say swing mark or leg start? Leg start, that's 5. So those are the 5 things. And so when we're riding, like right now, the Nasdaq's riding +5. So it means above the ATR, above the PSAR, above the swing mark, above the leg start, and above the VWAP. I think I counted them all. It's been a while since I counted them all. So that tells me like the momentum's up. Now clearly always, if the momentum's up, we can get faded. Um, and then the other thing I watch is, are we above a single print or a fair value gap, whatever you want to call it. And that number is labeled 1. So this, I cancel that order. I don't really want it anymore. Where did we go? So this little thing I watch is just a measurement of all of that. We've got this new high here through the day on the NASDAQ, or sorry, not on the NASDAQ, on gold. I'm going to swing that up to new high, 36.89. So that's really what I'm watching. And then, so this oscillator here, this line oscillator, is, are we above the fair value gap or are we below the fair value gap on each individual time frame? And then the white line is just a moving average of it. So let me know if you got any more questions related to that. Which ones do you have, Adrian? Yeah, I haven't released this one. I mean, just because a lot of times I'm like, well, Let me make sure it works before I go off releasing it. But yeah, I mean, if you have like an example of an extension, like one of the things I'll actually go through and maybe we'll do it in a little exercise here. But let's see here. Gotcha. Change this. So I'm just gonna go through like a list of different, we'll see if we can find any that stick out. This is like annoying though every time I change this. Let's see here. Fit studies. Oh, okay. See if I can find. I'm gonna just scan through. Actually, no, that's futures. Why is that on my futures? Oh, I'm just gonna run through like a bunch of different markets and see if I can find anything with like a really hard trend, including markets I do not trade. Silver is actually looking a lot better than gold right now. Which makes me think gold will follow it. Which is part of the reason I'm trying to get long gold. Okay, so like looking at this hourly chart, this is like this is a 6E. This moving average, like below 2, I like to see, but then it's like, all right, now we got to find what the sequence is. So we have a halfway back short, looks like that's run to target, and then here's your next measured move. So I don't know when we're gonna get it, but this 118.46, you could set an alert there. We'll have to come back to that 60, or if somebody wants to pay attention to it. Let's see, Euro, that's the same market. Basically, what I'm looking for is something that's trending on the hourly indicator below or above 2. Here's one, oil. Clearly that's been working. So like let's just look when oil started trending below 2, which was here, and got all the way down to 3. Since it started trending below 2, we've just been getting sold into. Sold into. We're still below 2. That's why I'm still trusting the 63.24 short if we get back up there today. We're right at another test of 62.90, which is first test dropped 30 ticks. Traded that next halfway back there in NASDAQ. What I canceled my limit on. See if we can get gold to come down. That's really the only limit I got out there right now, this trade. Shazad, you can DM me. Let's see what the halfway back from the prior day. Here comes gold. Looking at an extension there. All right. Picked up the GC. Not like overtly aggressive at this point in time. This halfway back long in the Nasdaq is like a medium trade for me. Like I don't know. I don't feel too confident in it. All right, we got that problem figured out. But man, Shazad is in. All right, the upside target of this, I think if this gold holds, we're going to complete the full target. 3701. I'm going to set a timer for 25 minutes. Worst case scenario. ATRs. Let's check the ATR here. 5 points. I can move my stop up. 80, call it 85s. And CL gonna gun for that 63.24. That is a trade I'll take. We have broken the continuation here in oil. See if we can go 2 for 2. Keep it easy. Keep it easy. I'm afraid we can. All right. We have now. I'm going to watch this series lower. Got up to highs in the indexes. Had a short. That short's run into targets. Excuse me. Cute little sneeze. This is that full halfway back. See what our grid says here. About a 20-point reaction so far. Not bad. great reaction in gold. I'm moving my targets up. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's go. Just using that momentum indicator, finding those moves, being on the right side of history over here. History of price action. So you got that 5 minute. This is what I'm looking for. You got that 5 minute creeping up there and that extension. We got, this is the. I'm gonna try to do more of these videos. I'm trying to really pump up my infotainment. But gosh, wow, sick. Just ticked. Two absolutely ticked trades. No heat all day long. So what did we have there? We're above the value area, and then, I mean, this when I teach you guys this stuff, it's great for me because then you guys can spot it too. Um, but above fair value gaps on those three time frames I'm watching, which is hourly, 30-minute, and 5 minute, and then also positive momentum indicators, and that's when you get those reactions. So it doesn't matter what market we trade, right? We just have to pick the markets that are moving the direction that we're anticipating. Great reaction though. I mean, if anybody wanted that Nasdaq, great reaction there too. Looking forward. Clean, baby. We like that. Getting a squeeze in CL. What do you like as a target on this Nasdaq? Go to it. I would just this old negative 100. I think is just a something I'd watch for today, just because we have that triple quad, which go to it. 24,788. Yeah, I find it I would take it off for like that much, like 30 points. I don't like the idea of running that to target. So this old negative 100 that was just a ceiling yesterday, here, 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 we really didn't get above it here. I'd rather see us get some acceptance above that and then take a long than like try to push for it. But I mean, great trade for, I mean, what did we move? What, 40 points? I would just take that snipe. The games. The games. cancel this. Uh, Debating if I want to cancel this target in or this entry in CL just because it's. First of all, let me make sure I get the. I'm gonna go actually the full short. Is at 35s. Hmm. Oil back at the top here, but didn't quite get to those 25s anyway. Just gonna not touch it. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. My expectations for the indexes today are not that high. Of course, I could be wrong, but sometimes you just got to come in with a bias of is this the type of day that we're gonna rip and hit targets? And there's a lot of money getting thrown around, as Perry was mentioning with that quad witch, and sometimes that could lead to targets, and other times it could just lead to like jamming. So if you got a couple wins off the open and you don't want to sit around for another 5 hours. I think that consistency is just more important than those big outliers, especially on days where you're not expecting big outliers. Like I wouldn't expect a big outlier to happen today. Now, a big outlier can happen any day, but if your expectations aren't there, like don't push for it. This has been resistance for quite some time, and look at it, we're just failing from this level here again. And 30 points is a good trade, especially with no heat. After I get this, once I'm out of this gold trade, I mean, that 2 for 2, just that's what I'm trying to do. Just be in, out, clean, easy trades, not over trade. Give myself a haircut. Yeah, I'll do a review video on both these trades here. Just super clean. I remember the last time I had 2 absolute snipes, talking like within the low tick, within like a tick or 2. No heat. Jeez. Internet is a crazy place. Oh, little. See that like for example, in oil, like we get that move up, but if you're paying attention to that higher time frame trend that I went mentioned here, you're not taking along. But you can see that move up, but if you're not zoomed out, go to that hourly chart and just see how this momentum bar is just chilling below -2, chilling. Do not take along. It'll save you. Sometimes I don't look at that and you see, oh, quick swift move up, 60, it was like 50, 60 tick move off the low, and then boom, 30 points down, 5 minutes. Rolled over. See you later. We're not going higher. We're going lower. And that helps when you can view this momentum indicator. Keeps you out of those trades. Come on. 1 more point, 2 more points in gold. Fading. Way to take that off, Dylan. And just so you know, I don't know if you said your mic was on earlier. I have that computer muted, so I have no idea what you said, but unfortunately, this setting that I have does not allow me to. Well, I mean, I just have to do it manually, mute everybody, and sometimes I forget because nobody's talking. So make sure. I mean, you have to turn your mic on, but you can turn your mic on when you come into the room, when you come into the Zoom. Whoa. All right. Well, honestly, with these indexes going lower, I think there might even be. We could get all the way back down to those gap fills. That is a cliff dive in the CL. Get myself some blueberries. Gap fill. I'm a little upset I didn't short CL there. I think that's 25 minutes I've been in gold. Up 7 points. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot I had an order there in ES. How did that happen? This is my order from this morning in ES, which is the 66.94. It's the halfway back from the prior day that we traded multiple times. Like I said, we got it. I think it was like 5 yesterday. This was 6. So this is a 6th time. Also lines up with seems to be the 38% retracement of the Nasdaq's equal draw thus far. I'll look for like, see if we get 10 points out of that. Maybe 5. I'm gonna see how it reacts. Give it 25 minutes. And I can see us easily kind of just retracing back up. That selling pressure wasn't extreme. It was just that just looks like morning stops getting taken out. Barely took out the low in the Nasdaq and then instantly bid back up. I don't know. Did somebody just come out? Or is that just a good old reaction? This is where those games begin. Uh, Sheesh. Good job, Santiago. All right, gold coming into targets. Ready. Gold target complete for the zinger. Whoopush. Probably just gonna take 5 points here in the end. Yeah, I don't really definitely moving my stop up. I guess I'll give it 25 minutes and then I'm done. Done. Done here. Been on for an hour and a half. Clean setups. I've moved my stop up on my entry in ES. And then my target is like 6.5 points. That the ATR, the 1.5 times the ATR is 7.5 points in the ES right now, and it's 37.50 in the NQ. So that's where you start. Like if you're looking for an 80 point target on the Nasdaq, you're probably gonna be hanging out for a long time. May not get a hit. But like when you start looking at, I'm actually just gonna go for the 7.5. I think on days where we're looking to be choppy or where we are choppy, you go in, you look for those moves where you can get that. And once again, that when I say ATR, it's actually 1.5 times the 10 bar average of the 5 minute chart. All right, here we go. Tree for tree. One of those trades was kind of an accident because I totally forgot that I had limited that ES, even though that limit was totally valid. The reason it was valid is because it was the price action for the prior day, so that wasn't going to change. And I took the one ATR target. So snipe off a continuation in the Nasdaq here this morning from the overnight session. Um, Retest supports in the prior day in the ES, just a little, little trades, nothing crazy, and then a continuation trade out of lows and gold. But that'll be it here. Enjoyed hanging out with you guys. Hopefully you got some value out of that. I'll make a video on today's trades, and we'll see you all on Monday.